Okay. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Welcome. Hey, the Ranch Kid. Hey, Phil. Hey, Keith. Hey, LTX Design and John. Hey, Greenbeard. And Flying Gyroscope and Brian. How are folks? Hey, Mastermind. What else do we got here? Neve 902 Boots and Raj and Shimpasta and Gucci. How is everyone? A bit late for me. Well past my bedtime. I'll catch Scream tomorrow. Awesome. Have a good evening, Keith. Hey, John. Okay, so today, Wednesday, first Wednesday back from the break. Hey, Bob. And thank you. I like this shirt. I like the eat, sleep, print, repeat. Today we're going to play around with the index. So I figure it was a good time to do so. This is the index that was at Rocky Mountain at the Bondtech booth. It was printing all weekend, but it was printing with offsets just slightly off. I forgot my toolbox, didn't take it to the event, and my toolbox had the offset cameras in it, and doing it any other way was just going to take too much effort and too much time at the show. So we printed with offsets off, but it did print all weekend. So now we're going to play around with the offsets again, get them back set, and maybe start a print, but mostly just kind of hang out and talk about the index. We can talk about Trident R2 and how they interrelate, but just a casual hangout and play with the printer stream today. So, hey Gary, also got Big AF, Zadi and Nemi. Hey William, Lord Gitface. Hey Martin. And of course we've got an Oscar here. Hey Dozer and John. Okay, what are we gonna do? We are going to be using, so Ember Prototypes is the maker of the camera that we're gonna use. And they sent me, this is a messy desk, but that's okay. And sent me another version. So we use this, to do the offsets on the Stealth Changer, but we use the first beta version of it. This is the new one. And I don't know if this is 100% production, but it's another version newer than what we used before. So, hey Ceramix, Mr. Grinch, hey Heart K, hey Nappin. You know you want to talk about our VTR2. I can answer questions about VTR2. I've got gantry stuff. I've got the printer. We can answer those questions. That's fine. Let's just hang out, casual time. Hey Hyperdrive. Is this Mark? How you doing? Hey Muzen. How you end up liking the CXCV2? I have one on the way for my Index too. Yeah. It worked pretty well. Really good picture when doing the Stealth Changer. So we'll see. This is the update. It looks very similar. Basically, very similar to the last one, which is... Here it is. This, I'll take the cord off of here, but this is the one that we used before. Has a magnet on the bottom, has a switch here that can be used for Z offsets. You have to plug in this connector and take it back to your controller in order to take advantage of the Z offsets and probably some LED control. So the new one, this is inside of a little printed corner piece. So this has some magnets on it so you can put it at the corner of your bed at a known location. But the new one has the same Z offset button, which, Phil, if you're around, that's sticking pretty bad. Just an FYI. That's sticking worse than the first one. But two magnets on the bottom with a little silicone pad. So had some issues I felt with, this was too easy to shift around on the bed from the weight of the cable. So Phil listened and made some changes. So... yeah. I want to be the annoying viewer. Is there any estimated date for Trident R2 as I have crashed Trident that needs rebuilt? It is this. Here, read that. That'll tell you. That's all you need to know. Okay, anyway. Yeah, that switch is not great. I'd be checking those. Let me know what you think. But I'm not using the switch. The focus ring is easy to turn. I had a hard time on the old one. So the new one is in, Mark did a little short on what, or Phil did a little short on what he was doing to help remedy that. So, hey, Matto. Anyway, so we're going to hook this up. Let me grab the cable for it. I don't know that we're going to use this corner piece because we're going to put it around the middle of the bed. I'm going to grab this stuff and we'll get started. Hey, Gridman. Oh, I'm not a fan of having the button on the loose camera. It's hard enough getting accurate Z offset on the VIC Z-Probe. I don't need it on any of the stuff. For the stealth changer, I've got the ball end stop, and on the index here, it has the load cell. So direct nozzle offsets on the bed is probably about as good as it gets. So I'm not really too, I mean, there's probably applications where this could be useful, but I'm not too concerned about it. So I think what we're going to do to make this easy is pull the clicky clack door off. That is a major advantage of that thing. You'll just pull it right off and get it out of the way. We'll get this thing hooked up. Now the way this is going, on the stealth changer, we use this along with Axiscope to do offsets. Since Axiscope requires Clipper tool changer, which we're not running here, we'll have to use the computer to do offsets. Let's see here, make sure I'm plugging this thing in right. Nope, that was not. Okay, first of all, I guess we'll play around here. So there's the thing. Let's plug it in and make sure we get this thing to show up in Windows. Let's plug it in along with a USB extension because I think I'll need it. So let's go here to the front of the computer. Let's plug in the camera. Ooh, bright. Very bright. So that's there. And then if we go to, hey Joseph, what is the loose screw in the bottom? Oh, that's from a Z cover that I had taken off on Sunday's stream showing someone something. I hadn't put it back. Okay. In the description are links to the stuff we're doing here today. You coming back down here? There you go. I want my chair back. Hey, CG. Is that a phoenix in the background? It is. Hey, Jeff. Okay. So, Ember Prototypes, camera assisted XY calibration tool. There's a pre-order out there for V2. That's what we're going to be using today as a V2. Hey, Bill. So, nope. We got some information here. I think, let's see. Documentation. Here we go. So let's try the web app and see if we can get this thing to work in the web app first. Otherwise, I'll download the software and make sure we have it. So, allow. And what camera? Oh, is this it? Aha, yep, that's it. There's my fingerprint. No stealing my fingerprint. Okay, so it's working. So we can use this. We'll use the web app. I've never used the web app, but we'll use it. I just wanted to make sure it would work. So, hey, Admiral Dama. Cool. which means we get over here, set this thing over here for now. I want to, here, I'll take advantage of my spool holders there to take up the slack in the cable so it doesn't pull on things. Someone mentioned the spool holders. This is something I came up with right before the show for holding the spools on the side of the printer. I'm really happy with it for how little time I spent on it. I am going to publish this. It is using 1515, but I'll make a 2020 version when I publish it, so both will be out there. But it just hangs on the side, and it worked great the whole show. So I expect it to continue to. It just uses the switch wire spool holders. So, hey, Killer Prince. Hey, Rudy. Actually, what I'm thinking about doing is just take advantage of the printables links. I'm thinking about doing some of my index stuff on both GitHub and printables. So like this thing here that I made. This is a magnet jig for pressing the magnets into the index tool holders. So I made this, sits in there so you get, because it's kind of hard to press against these angled surfaces. So this goes here, and then there's a couple of M3x8 socket heads that go in here just to give a positive surface to push the magnets down into the tool holder the exact amount. So I'm going to publish that. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how this turned out. It made every one of these exactly the same magnet insertion depth and made it really nice. So, hey, Kittrell. I'll do both GitHub and printables. It gives people a choice. I need to take some pictures and maybe do a short video on how to use this just because. But it worked really well for the ones that are on there. Okay. What do we need to do? We need to home. There's no reason for me to mess with that. Let's go ahead and home. Are you following the GitHub magnet depths, or did you get instructions from Bondtech? I inserted them to flush with the bottom of the... Okay, so I did two things. I did all of this in the frantic period of getting ready for the show. I needed every bit of the weeks not streaming to get ready for this. So let me refresh my memory on what I did here. So here's a tool. Nice retail packaging. Hey, Zeta. Ready for me to pick up. Ooh, nice little foam packaging. They did send me 7 tools. I'm using 8, or I'm using 6. They sent me 7, but I'm using 8. Figure out how that works. They sent me 7, I'm using 6, so this is a tool. What I did, because I didn't think to look up any documentation, is I measured the depth of here and realized it was the same depth as these pockets. So that goes in. So it's the same. It should be here, the same depth there. Yep. So. There's 16 of the Bondtech magnet spring parts coming for the tool holders. Yeah, so I'll get this thing published as soon as possible. Just get it out there. So along with the spool holders, I need to get out there. But in the middle of all this, I need to finish up some Trident R2 stuff. So it's whatever floats to the top of the motivation list at the moment. Magic happens and suddenly you have more. Anyway, this was handy. This is a nice little extra piece. Let's see. Let's go here. And we can probably Oop, there we go. Let's get this thing homed. I don't think I've homed this since traveling, so let's see how this works. Let me make sure that the tool is not fully seated. I want that to be fully seated. So one of the things that happens with changing tools and stuff is it doesn't fully seat until it's extruded a little bit. So let me just extrude this a little bit. And that should extrude again. That should lock that into place. I don't know. That was my Phoenix at Rocky Mountain. Yep. Extrude. Make sure I wasn't close to a magnet. What is going on? That is not. Let's go ahead and home. Let's get this reset. Was enough to press the magnets in. I did not use any super glue. They were a very tight fit. Okay, don't knock it. So let's just go ahead and home it and see what happens. Homo. So home's Y first. That's something we fixed at the show. Hey, Motocross, thank you. What diameter hose does INDX need for CPAP? We can measure it here in a minute, but it's the hose that comes with the BTT CPAP kit. That's the other thing. I'll publish my little internal mount there. It is out on my on my Discord. It may be out on my GitHub. I think it actually is. But yeah, I've been really pleased with that. Not having to run the hose outside the printer is really nice. Okay, let's see. So this, what is it? INDX status. Can I look at that? I'm still learning all the macros. Tool status? Is that what I want? Yeah, there we go. This is important. So I hit the tool status macro, and let's go over to the console. This is nice information. So a big one here is the lock state for the tool. I was running into a problem where I was manually engaging and disengaging the tool mechanism, holding mechanism. And it wasn't changing the lock state because it wasn't going through the proper process. So then on the first tool change, it was screwing up and crashing. So a lesson learned is make sure that the state is correct before you actually go through an automated tool state. It's gone through 395 tool changes. That's almost entirely at the show, printing maker chips. Oscar does not have a new collar. He hasn't had a new collar in a while. Idea of adding USB port to the front skirts just comes in handy for quality of life. Yeah, don't knock it. I don't know if you remember or were around. We did that on a stream. I showed how to design that. Hey, Kim. Okay, so it is in a good state. So let's go ahead and do a tool 1 and let's see what happens. There we go. Perfect. Change its oil after 3,000 tool changes. Hey, Tiberium. We can go back to tool. There we go. Tool 5. Cool. You're going to be at this year's 3D Printopia? I will. I won't have any printers with me, but I'll be there. Are the macros public? I think we could add INDX support to Axoscope if we knew what to look for. I'm not sure, Nemi. I can check, though. I can check. I don't want to say yes. Just I want to be respectful of Bontech's release schedule on this. So that would be handy. Having access scope ready for this would be really awesome. Can't get my head around tools starting at 0. Why not? What about Murph in June? I will not be at Murph in June. I'm going to Jerf. So that's a very dense schedule to do Smurf, RMRRF, Jerf, and Murph. So many things. You show a close-up of the little arm on the tool mount touching the tool head. On the CAD, it's not centered. I want to see how yours is. Close-up. So let me make sure I understand what you're talking about. You're talking about this guy? The little arm there? On the tool mount touching the tool head. That's the little spring-loaded piece that goes here, right? This is the front of the tool. It goes in there. We need more creative names for meetups. We've already realized, suggested we need barf. We really need barf. Although with Bay Area Maker Faire and open source, it's not as big of a deal now. But when we were coming up with barf, those didn't exist. Those touches a pad looking area on the head. On the CAD is not centered. As in not centered on where it touches on the head. Bay Area Rep Festival. You still want a barf, Killa, when you're moving? Hold one in Sacramento and call it your own turf. Anyway, let's go back here. So with that, let's go ahead and let's get that moved well away from the magnet. What was this? Let's extrude a little bit just to Are the index nozzles hardened? Yes, they are. All of the index nozzles are, right now, these are all CHT hardened steel. All I have are 0.5s. Although Hart K said that, was successful in swapping this part from the earlier beta stuff to get some 0.4s. But far for the community, not just you. You look on the head, you have the LEDs, then there's a small area that is slightly sticking up where the magnet touches to release the tool. On the CAD, that's not centered when touching. Is it touching a little to the outside? To the left? Probably. Okay, I want to do a Z-tilt because I want to make sure the bed hasn't. And this is using the load cell. Yeah, it might be, John. Just eyeballing it. It might be a little to the left. Hey, Wick Central. So this is using the load cell to do the to do all the probing. I do have a beacon still installed on here, but you can't use both. At least not with current firmware and software setup. It looks like it's probably correct, John. Okay, and then there's that, and okay. So the best way to do this. We want to go to about 35. And 0.5s are interesting instead of the typical 0.4. 0.5 is a good nozzle size. It's just not what I typically tune to. Should be slightly better for filled filaments, although I've not personally had much problems with 0.4s. But the biggest reason I got 0.5s is because Prusa gobbled up all the 0.4s. Oh, that is way better. That sticks and doesn't move. I like it. Okay, so that's going to go there. And if we look here, let's get this thing. Let's get this. Wow, that focus at 35 is just about perfect. What was that? What was that? Something moved next to me. Don't know. That's pretty darn good. Hey Brent. Oh, cool. Someone linked. Thanks, Rat. Is that the current video? Yeah. Okay. So with that there, let me bring up another page here because I need controls I can see at the same time as the camera. And what do we want to do? No problem, John. Media is I've set up on mine at the moment. I'm still using Beacon. Yeah, Beacon will work. Oh, shoot. What happened there? Paper towel. A bit of drink spilled out of my container here. I wonder why. Load cell will be default. Load cell will be default. Next device being held at Levi Stadium. Having problems with what link? What link there, Brent? Okay. Okay, here's what we can do. I can go in here and now start jogging the printer. To center tool 0. And you have the mouse over the camera view. Looks like you can do a picture in picture. You click that, you can move the camera anywhere. Oh, well, that's interesting. Oh, I can move it into another browser. Well, that's kind of cool. This is fine, though. This is fine. Xbox controller. You don't do this often. This isn't something that you have to do very often. So, okay. So that looks pretty good there. So I'm going to come down here, and for X0, I'm at 124.97, and Y is 119.94, and then Z is 0. That's fine. We're not going to calibrate Z. Oh, do you lose the crosshair? I didn't notice. You do. Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem. Good call. Okay, so that's there, and now I switch to tool 1. So that's entered. Oh, Axiscope will be really nice if we can get this working because it'll take care of all this. But right now we have existing offsets. So we're either going to do two things. we're either going to zero out all our existing offsets, or we're going to apply the change here to our existing offsets. I think it would be better, and considering it was significantly off, for us to zero out the existing offsets. And that, I think, is all documented in the camera instructions to do that. So let's go in here and zero out the offsets, redo them, because I think that'll be better. I'd forgotten about that. So here in a variables config file are we've got an adventurous kitty. Says, fine, you won't pay attention to me? I'll jump on Phoenix. So. Hey, Nemesis. Okay, so we're just going to zero all of this out. Oh, what's the best way to do this? Is there any quick way to zero all this out? Oops. I want to leave the Z. Is there a quicker way to zero this out? There's probably a macro that could do it. Control A, then delete. Yeah, this won't take too long. And the only one with the link in the description worked for me, but the one in chat doesn't. The giveaway link, the filament giveaway link. It's the same link. That's weird. Okay. Huh. Okay. That would be all of them. Okay. Save and restart. And we still have tool 0. So let's all. Oh. Move the camera out of the way. Okay. Oh, you know what? Speaking of audio, we don't have any music. Let me start the music up. Hey, Palms. I forgot to set up music. Okay, that should be better. Okay, that's there. We saw that 35 was a perfect Z height. I'm not going to redo Z tilt because it's going to be close enough. We're gonna this guy up under there. And bring up this, see how close I am. There, is that really close? And then we can zoom in here. There we go. Zoom out right there. Build a Core XYZ. Okay, so now let's get this in there. Maybe too far. That looks really close. So we'll enter that. And that is 125, 4. Speaking of links, you have a link to where one might obtain that camera setup. Yep, it's in the description. It's the Ember Prototypes link in the description. And 120.02. Okay, now will the slider adjust the target? Nope, brightness. Slider adjusts contrast. Okay, so now we change to tool 1. So, tool 1. Okay, and now we have to change it to 125, 120. Here we are here. Oh. Maybe one more. And nope. That way. That looks pretty good. Well, the slider, oh yeah, that looks pretty good. So now we put in 125.25 and 120.06 and 0. Now we go and we get tool 2. Oscar's having a grand old time. He's lording over everything. Oh, why are we... Oh, because I didn't move it over there yet. 125. 120. There we go. I really want to see how gummed up my nozzles are. Yeah, these have been okay so far. We may need to heat one up and clean it off, but so far I think this is going to be okay. Something to note. I changed in the interface the adjustment range here on the controls. You go into the settings and go to control and you can change them. You can only have so many of them. So I changed these specifically for doing the offsets. When a system like Axiscope or something works, that makes all this a whole lot easier. So just a quick note there. Oops. Oh, that is really darn close. Probably a there, maybe nope, not that one. Right there. That looks good. Hey, Garrett. Do Z-tilt before that calibration? I did. I didn't redo it because it's a Trident. It's a 250 Trident. It doesn't settle in between homes, but I did do a Z-tilt before that. I'm moving the head through mainsail. Yep. And then looking at this value here, and this is what I'm entering. So looking at this value, and this is what I'm entering into that interface. So we will dock tool and recheck it with, we'll nail same numbers. It's not super easy. I'd have to type each one back into there for it to go back to the same spot. You know, Garrett. Okay, so tool 2 is 125.26 and 120.06 and 0. Good job. Oscar made his way down. Okay, so now tool 3. And we go to 125, 120. Okay, so now we're gonna shift this one. I think it's this way. Nope, the other way. This one's quite off. Oh, the other way. Is this the under? It is. It's the newest one. I just got it after I got back from, well, it arrived while I was in Colorado. That's looking pretty good. So then enter that. 125.34 and 119.86. 0. So something you'll notice is this is a tool shy of what I have, what I need. So we will fix that. Oh, I didn't actually start. This does have a, I hope I don't have to redo that. What happens if I enter all of these? Am I doing this all wrong? I could be doing this all wrong. Let's do it anyway. Let's find out. Actually, what if I start? You must clear existing machine. Oh, here we go. You must clear existing machine offset values for calibration to be accurate. That would have been helpful for me to read that first time. You must home the machine after any changes to machine offset values, and the order of operations is critical. Follow the instructions carefully. I'm going to take a picture of this so I don't have to redo all of these. Just as a, I'll take a screen capture, just in case. There we go. Let me just grab those and throw them out other ways. It's all to me getting it to work with TMV for rep firmware since no one else seems to be stepping up. Order of operations is critical. Ensure this is stable and does not move during calibration. So let's continue. Clean nozzles, wipe them off, back up current calibration values, home the machine, move the axis up to 30. 35 seems to be what works well for this. Continue. Place the CXC on the bed. Continue. Move to T0 until centered in the crosshair. Home T0 and move T1 to the position previously recorded. Move T1. Oh, is this basically doing calibration complete? Okay. So if we go back, let's put in another one here. Shift Windows key S. We'll do the snipping tool in one shot. Okay. Let's grab tool 4 now. So everything will be fine with this. Let's grab tool 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, tool 4. You reckon this camera or the ball thing would be better? I think the camera. I like the camera better for XY offsets. Okay, so then 125, 120. That should bring this back over here. Then let's go. Then you can kind of see, I can see the outline here enough of that outline to where I'm not too worried about cleaning that. Oops, wrong way. That looks pretty good. Like cents to make, and this is a couple tens of dollars. You're right. Okay, so now we're going to enter in for X4, 125.36, 120.02, and 0. Now, if we continue here, we will get offsets for all of these. So if I take a Shift Windows key S. What? Oh, I see. So I'm going to just grab this. That's not what I wanted. Okay. I get what that does, but I lost my old one, but that's okay. This is all I really need are these offsets here. Now, if I just redo, go for tool 5 now. If I go for tool 5 and go back to 125, 120, hey, Clown Hammer, and get this set up. Right about there. And then put this in for the last one. 125.19 and 120.11. Since I had X4 saved, I'll get a new X4 here, but I'll just put that in for 5. Just a little workaround. I think Phil is going to be adding the ability to do more tools here. But it's not there yet. So let's continue. There we go. There's the new offsets for just that last one is what I need to change. So now if we go over here, and I'm going to be referencing this little screenshot here and go to our machine and variables and X offset for first one is minus 0.21 and Y offset is minus, oops, this is tool 0. I'm screwing up. 0.0. 0.0, there we go, minus 0.21 for tool 1, minus 0.04, and Z we're going to leave alone. For tool 2 is the second one here for, so this is X tool 1, 2, 3, 4, and Y tool 1, 2, 3, 4. So this one is minus 0.22 for tool 2, minus 0.22, minus 0.04, and then tool 3 is minus 0.30, minus 0. No, it's plus 0.16. And then tool 4 is minus 0.32 and 0. Now we go back to here and we get minus 0.15 for tool 5, minus 0.15 and minus 0.09. .09. There we go. Okay, and then save and restart. So that's a little clunky, but that can be automated with software. Hey, Richard. Something is going on with this water bottle. This is the one that they gave us at Rocky Mountain. I don't know what, if it's, the straw is a little too long, so it's building up weird pressure in there. Yes, Mastermind, that is the only correct answer. That is the only correct answer, because the number of printers you need is... Okay, so that is that. We can take the camera off. Now we do have the wrong tool in, but we should be able to. So nice thing is the load cell is in the tool head, so we can still home. Bottles have gasket leak. Yeah. I wasn't having a problem with the gasket leaking before. It was all just, it's gathering something up in the thing. Tool Jazers, can't you just count tool heads as N+1 instead of the whole printer? So yeah, see, it homed fine, and it still knows which tool is in, because we can do this and go tool status, and it knows that, oh, I had tool 0 in it. Never mind. I thought I had tool 5 in it still. I had tool 0. Never mind. It'll still tell you though. If you reboot the printer or whatever and you left off at tool 3, it'll know that tool 3 was there, because that gets saved in this variables file down here. Where is it? Active tool. So active tool is 0. I think that's part of what's going on, John. For sure. Okay. It switched before homing Z? Oh, okay. I wasn't watching. Okay, so that's there. I think at this point we can get it set up to do a print and see how those offsets are. So let's get Filament installed. Yeah. Let's put a black. Let's just do the same things we were using at the show mostly. So we need a black and a white. Maybe we can do my chip for this test. We need a black, a white. We'll do a red and green instead of, not that red. Do I have a red? No. Red. I didn't bring a red. I'll do this other red then. Or we can do a yellow and green. Maybe we can do yellow and green. yellow, black, white, yellow, gray, and green. And green. Okay. Red, but that's a different red. I have mixture of filament in here. You know, recheck with the camera. I mean, what if some value is wrong? Or is it just I trusty? I'm gonna do it with a print. The problem is with this particular setup is I would have to, I guess I can set the camera underneath and just get it close and switch between the tools and manually go back to that location. Only half joking, of course. That's always just half joking, right? Dozer, you're absolutely right. I could do that. It's kind of clunky. And I don't know if I want to spend 3 hours on the stream tonight. So it was mostly go through the process, get a print going, answer questions. So if anybody has any questions about the setup, bring them up. Yeah, bring them up. So what do I want to do for order of filament? I want to print, where's one of my chips? Do I have one of my chips around here? Yeah. I want to print probably white, then black. So let's go white. White here. There. Colored pencils and draw something. Do you know if the nozzles are the same for all index? Can I share my Prusa and eventual? I assume so. And I'm almost certain, Robin, that that is the case. That all the nozzles will be the same between the Prusa setup or the DIY setup. That's a future potential project there, Nemesis. What did I want to do? I wanted to get the thing out of the way. Hey, Gobslobs. And then a little this, we've seen this before, but we set the tool head to 200 and watch the temperature curve. It's there. Okay, let's extrude this. Let's go. Get that old black out. I had black in there before, so I want to purge a little extra here to get the white. There we go. Okay, then cool down, find some tweezers, something similar for Stealth Ranger, yeah. Oh, that needs a little more. Never mind, that needs a little more. It's still gray. Have you done a repeatability test and sent the same tool back to the camera multiple times? I have not. I have not. And honestly, when I was printing with this on the previous iteration, I did the offsets. One of them was slightly off. I made a guess at a change, and then I was printing things like this. And it was turning out fine. About being able to move the bed mounts back a bit to free up the lost space for index. Yep. So part of the Trident R2 is a rearranging of the Z carriage parts to give more room to where you can print the bed mounts here in the 3 points to shift the bed forward or back. And for this setup, I shifted it back 8 millimeters. Is the load cell configured in Clipper? It is configured. If we go to machine, and I think printer config, and we scroll way down here, maybe too far. It is using the load cell probe config that is in Clipper now. And I am running Calico here, so. Is that CPAP pulling air from outside or just the bottom of the chamber? Just the bottom of the chamber. So anyway, this is the load cell configuration here, particularly for this. It's getting it from the INDX MCU. Okay. Now let's cool down and change tools. Does each extruder holder have a way to reduce oozing, or is it the inductive heater can change temperature so quickly? Oozing is not an issue. It does ooze a tiny bit, and it will depend on what material you're printing with. On my previous iteration, where I wasn't able to move the bed, I couldn't put any kind of ooze blockers there, but it wasn't a problem. Now there's room. The bed, the front of the bed is not in line with where the nozzles are. So you could integrate a little mount here that maybe has a little silicone flap or something that prevents any amount of ooze. Okay, so now tool 1. Will the Whopping Puckered kinematics still work on Trident R2? They will not. They will not. The position of the beds, here's an index. This is one from here. So the old ones, I don't have any around here. The pivot point was like here. It's moved significantly. It's out in this way on even a spec setup. This one is moved back 8 millimeters. So this part is stretched 8 millimeters that way. And then because index, the nozzle is higher than a stealth burner, I had to add 10 millimeters to this part here. So this is 10 millimeters thicker than it should be. It might there, Adama. Index is not open source. It's a product from Bondtech. Okay. The next one is black. One of the things, absolutely, one of the things that would be great is to automate this whole process with little feeder setups or something. But this really isn't too bad. Now we heat this thing up. 200. Watch that curve. From spool to nozzle when changing filaments. Yeah, from getting it. You could very easily integrate some sort of motor into there and sensors, end stops and stuff. Heard anything on price? Officially only what Prusa has released. For the dev kit, I don't know. They've been saying in the $350 range, remember, for the tool or tool head, and then $35 or $40 for the tools is what was being quoted at Rocky Mountain. But don't quote me. Okay, that's already heated up. I don't need to wait that long. And let's extrude. Oh, cool. Then add tax and fees. Remember that Prusa's price on their website includes, especially if you're in the US, includes tariffs. So, does a V2 need smaller G-joints for index if the nozzle is higher? I'm not sure what is necessary on the V2. Heart K can probably answer if he's still around. For Trident R2, how far back could we move back the bed with the new mounts? I think the mounts you made were for like 8mm, but if I wanted to move the bed back 15, I don't think there's room for 15. You could probably get to 12, but I don't know that you could get to 15 without changing the back a little more. But there are ways that I could suggest you could do it, but it would take a little more major redesign of the part back there. Okay, so that one's done. So let's cool down. And we're gonna grab tool 2. And we're gonna put, it doesn't really matter what color we put in now, but I'll just put gray. Where's the end there? There it is. Do the tools have detection sensors? No, they do not. Extrude. There it goes. This was white. Have you done any work on the 2.4? I have not. I have not. I've focused on the Trident. And part of that is, I mean, so much focus on Trident R2. So, okay, cool down. Grab tool 3. Key thing to remember is that the tool mount extrusion is 1515, and while it looks like 2020 would work, Bondtech recommends heavily against. Yeah, this guy is 1515 because we can talk about that. This is where it goes, right? Right in here. This is 15mm. The distance between the magnet plunger for actuating the tools and the spacing for everything means that you can't really, you can almost fit 20 in there, but not quite. You'd have to redo this quite a bit. You can do it on a 350, sure. And I know I saw some mention in the Discord the length of this. So I believe, let me double check my memory, but I believe the distance for the new front idlers here is 17mm from, yeah, 17mm. And this is a 370mm long extrusion. So at the very, if you want it really, really tight, yeah, 370. You want 370 minus 34 millimeters. So probably 370 minus 35. So 335 millimeters is what that one is. I made it so it was pretty tight and there isn't much gap on either side. But thanks, Steve. I just turned it in a few minutes ago. There hasn't been any kind of update for timeline for R2, I'm guessing, yet. The only update I have is there we go. Soon. Actual soon, though. Okay, that tool is changed. Heater up. Oh, I didn't actually put, I moved to there. Let's go yellow, then green, I guess. Oh, not that one. Not that one. It's a little backwards here. I want this one as the next. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's mostly to make the PTFE in the back look nice and symmetric. And that one's a little tight. I'll have to figure out why. But I think it'll be okay. Mr. Rodog, thank you for the gift of memberships. Oh, don't let me forget. We're giving away Filament at the 6 o'clock, which is in 45 minutes-ish. After that, I'll give away 5 gifted memberships. Thank you. Do I have a Voron Cascade? Yep, it's right here. What priority you set your CPAP and printer config? I think it's at a, we can check, but I think it's at 100%, but I only run it at like 35% for PLA. Let's extrude this. There we go. Got it. Another one. There's a little, in terms of the PTFE, there's a little jog in it where it enters here. I need to change that the angles of those a little bit. That's where it gets, there's a little kink. Individually loading and heating each nozzle to load filament. You can automate this with macros and stuff. I've just not done any of that. And tool 4. Tool 4, we're going to do green. Giveaway time in 45 minutes. In 45 minutes. Hey, De Leon. Welcome. Look at those temperature curves. Now, the cooldown is not correct because it's going away. It's being removed from the sensor. So cooldown isn't correct, but the heat up time is absolutely correct. Then extrude. There we go. That was, oh, I don't think that, I'm not sure that that's ever had filament through it. I don't need that. And cool down and grab tool 0. So we'll do a 5 color print here. Working my Voron as well. Keep getting MCU air on long prints. Ouch. Okay. I think we are good there. I should probably go here because I'm going to disrupt this camera because I got to grab my IPA. Clean off the bed. And I need to copy some profile stuff that I didn't have for this on this computer. So any questions on INDX or R2 I can answer while I'm doing that? Let's see, did I get this pretty close? Oh, wow. Got it right back to where it was. Give that a nice little wipe down. I gotta copy some profiles that I had backed up and just copy them into the correct folders here on. Yeah, is what I had to the grill. What took the longest for R2? To have enough things and motivation on changes to feel like something being worth it, and to have kind of a comprehensive or a cohesive upgrade. And it really came together as far as release timeline when we realized that it would be good to just at least get out the motion system. XYZ update is what really helped. Oh. Saw, there we are. There we go. Those were not all the way up into their holder. Any predictions for the launch? Well, if I gave you a prediction, that would be taken as truth. So I can't give a prediction on an R2 launch. If you were building a Voron from scratch, would you start with the R2? Do you have any hardware kits you really like for building? I've got the most experience with the LDO stuff. So. Zeta, you had made some nice hidden camera Z motor mounts. Will you have something similar for R2? The existing mounts on both sides have a wire path in the corner, which you know, but that's okay. You're asking for other people, I'm sure. Watch the whole videos. A little later by. Is that possible to use INDX for Voron 2.4? Already ordered 8 for my Core 1 Plus. There will be integrations for Voron 2. I know Heart K has been working on one. Others are working on some. All of the dev stuff is all about integrations into custom setups. So I will be releasing an integration for Trident R2, for instance. These bits, the modified front pieces here to hold the bar and the bed pieces will all get published to my GitHub, and probably the printables as a separate thing. Are you doing PWM on the CPAP? On mine, 20% was blowing a lot. Yeah, I do 35% and it's blowing plenty. You'll do a review on it. Whose skirt panels are those? Will those be available in the official? This is just the method of 0 top and bottom layers and honeycomb infill for the skirts. Oh, INDX, it's been quiet. Well, but now the cable is exposed and it makes a turn because they are thinner. I don't have a great solution to make it completely invisible. Yeah, that's a good point. I get it. But at least the passage is there. People can modify to their heart's content. let me actually do what I was supposed to be doing. Go out here and grab my Prusa profiles. Is that what I want? Yeah, there. And there. 3 cylinder, if any, will you take care of R3? What can we expect in this? So the expectation, Roberto, is that this is a kind of get things kick-started, but there will be hopefully more frequent incremental changes to the printer. I would hope, because it is a lot more effort to do giant sweeping changes. So this is the motion system. The next little incremental change may be a change to the motion system, or it might be changing the skirts, you know, that kind of thing. How easy was the config setup on Index compared to the Stealth Changer? Well, it was really easy because I had a config from Bondtech basically for this. I had to tweak some stuff for my exact install, but Stealth Changer, you got to worry about all the different other setups that are out there. Let me see. And here. Will Trident R2 taken? So development of Trident R2 was influenced by in the way of maximizing every area we could to be friendly for modifications, including Index, other tool changers and stuff. Is that a good politically correct answer? Okay, filament. Oh, I have those already in here. Well, maybe I do have all this here. Oh, okay. Let's try this then. Maybe I don't have to copy all these over. Maybe I already did. It's really cool to see the Index set up on the Trident at Rocky Mountain. Now you want it. Awesome. Okay, so let's go down here. Yeah, there we are. I do have VT Black Bondtech test there, and I got a Bondtech PLA. Let's just go there, and Polymaker, Bondtech, Polymaker. Set all of these. DM me in Discord. Okay, I will check that out. Get these selected. Bondtech, Polymaker. Bondtech, since we're running all the same filament here. There we go. Oh, this is still set up for 5 tools, even though it doesn't really matter here. Let's set this to 6. I think you mentioned going all 3mm foam on panels. Are there any other considerations besides simplifying the BOM? Yes, because the moving the rear Z rail to the side of the extrusion, we needed a little extra room, and that gave more room to move the AB steppers back. So room for the belts, the 3mm foam on the back is you'll need. Thanks, Roberto. Just wondering if there will be screw holes to accommodate the toolhead bar. You will reprint these pieces here for the Trident. The default files won't have holes there because most people won't need them. So you would just reprint the front piece and then the little pincher pieces. And that's it. You just have to print those 6 pieces to hold the toolhead, the toolhead bar. That's funny, Sean. Can you print a cover for the CPAP blower and the board next to it to cover all that and make it look clean? I intended to do a cover for the board. I just never got around to it. Motocross. You gotta check Andrew's Discord message. It's worth it. Is this in my Discord? Where? What Discord? In stream chat? Where did you post? Oh geez. Oh geez. Let's open this. How do I open? I don't know if I want to show this. That is way too long a hair. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. I do like it. This hair though, holy moly. Look at all that hair, that back hair. Oh, hair in the back. That's hilarious. New YouTube avatar. Okay. Filaments are there, print settings. I think I have a index PLA. There we go. We have white and then black and then gray and then yellow and then green, right? Yep. Yeah. When will shirts be available? So I assume that's AI generated. Can we get rid of the long hair? That's just... I like it though. Okay, let's open this up. I think here, maker chip, maybe not there. Let's try here. There we are. My maker chip. I want the step file. Ooh, which is it? Let's try this one. Yeah, this is it. Still get weirded out when I watch one of your old videos with a short beard. How stupid would it be to convert my Trident to GT 1.5 belts and pulleys? Here's the things I would consider when going to the 1.5 millimeter belts and pulleys. I don't know this, but are the diameters of the pulleys, do they have an exact equivalence to the 22? I don't know. I think they were kind of an odd tooth number on those though. So you want to make sure you're aware of the belt path and make sure that if you need to shift the pulleys around to keep everything lined up. That's the biggest thing with the belts and pulleys. You'd have to change the ends, the carriage, how they clamp in there, change the features for that. But where the pulleys are, depending on the diameter of them, needs to be changed. Here, Bearded Printer, thanks for the gifted memberships. It would not be stupid. It's a good thing to try. Just don't assume that it's a bolt-in. Okay, there we go. So this is the bottom. That's my newer maker chip. So we have the logo. So we were going to do, I think I'm gonna go green on this, which is a weird, and we'll do yellow on this, or maybe we'll go the other way. Just because order of something like that. Might be part of the rebuild work for my index kit whenever they ship. Yeah. And then the outer border, that's that. So I did, that's black. And then the logo border is black. Oh, this might print interesting. That's something I need to change. With R2, is it worth having a pin mod? Is pin mod worth it? That is a great thing for you to try in a mod. I don't think that it's worth it to add the complexity or the cost to the build and adding new things. I don't think it's worth it necessarily, but I see the short hair version. This is actually better. It is a more representative of the beard too. Hey Kenny. Changing belt type and pulley redesign might be a bit much while adding index. It's two different things. But yeah, that one's better. That's awesome. I should record April's reaction when I show this because she's just gonna laugh. Okay, QR background. That is this one, and this is the one that I had white. That's right, and the QR code would be black, and the outer part is where it's gray. So that is my typical logo there. The chip. That's hilarious. Stickers for this image. Maybe I'll send it over to Dr. Mercy and see what he can do. Yeah. Okay. So that's that. Now I just thought of a problem. This is very specifically designed for this black part here, the black border around the logo, to be 0.4 millimeters, and I have 0.5 millimeter nozzles. So we'll see how this goes. I got a chillin' cat. He's chillin'. He doesn't often chill like this. Awesome. Vinyl backing for your Trident with that pick. I don't know if I want to look at that every time I use the printer. Okay, something I need to remember here is we need to go to each extruder, and these are 0.5. That's a good point, Antstar. I like it. That's what I'm gonna do for this. I love that idea. Isn't fully accurate though. It needs more muscles. No, it needs more gut. I don't want it to have more gut, but if it's an idealized, I'm okay with it being idealized. Okay, let's save this. And I love the idea of get this thing 125, 120, 125%, 120%. There we go. Because this is what I typically use. So let's slice this and see what that looks like. Yeah. Oh, that's something to do here. It's going to be fine, but we probably need to go here and change all these to 0.5. There we go. I'm leaning into the Trident theme with mine called Ursula and purple for the frame. Nice. Orca is perfectly fine. I need to use Orca more. I'm just not used to it. Like cats. I'm curious, can they generate static electricity on my damaged electronic board? Sure. But walking across your carpet can too. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Okay, it's still resolving it, so perfect. Oh, I do not need a brim. And I did try to somewhat optimize this for minimum tool changes. So it does some tool changes for that, but then it's no tool changes for several layers, and then for the logo and on. So I removed several layers of tool changes by doing this stripe in the middle. She approves. Well, I need to go from 0.5 to 0.4. I mean 0.4 to 0.5, which is another 20%, right? No, you're right. It's another 25%. Don't make me... No math. Why is there a brim here? Let's go 0. Hey, Deanna. Hey, Bob. Great seeing you, Rocky Mountain. Can't wait to see you. I saw you, but I didn't actually get to chat, right? That's how these events go, though, right? Could you not do the stripe? But then it would just be all black. It wouldn't be an extra feature. So all black or all gray, it doesn't change as long as there's no tool change. Let's go back here because you're right. It's 125. There we go. Make a mega chip. Well, I'd like this to actually print in the time that we're here. Let's see here. What CAD do I use? Fusion. I use Fusion. And then it's always a good idea on these to put whatever little bit of wipe tower you have in between the tools and your print. So it'll grab any little bits and pieces. But I think that will work. Let's get this thing heating the bed. What do I have here for... Oh, why do I have 65? Oh, so this is set to 65. So people have asked me why I would set this to 65 when I'm doing PLA. All these profiles are set up when I'm doing PLA and PETG with supports, and 65 works fine for the PETG I'm using. So I was running 65, and I'm just gonna leave it because I don't know if that'll change it for all of them. We'll just heat to 65. Consistent travel time for the layer 2. QR code shows the secret RT release date. Something I forgot to mention on Sunday, but hit a nice little milestone on the channel last week. We hit 15,000 subscribers. Thank you very much, everyone. Very happy to hit that. I'm almost, or maybe at 15,051, which is a nice palindromic number. Nope, way past it now, 15,060. So you briefly, but we're all running around. Just wanted to say your printer's looking, but thank you, appreciate that. Yeah, we've been doing this for 4.5 years. Is that right? 4.5 years, I think it is. A little over 4.5 years. Look at this guy. He's just chilling. Okay, that is preheating. How long does this say this is going to take? Only half an hour. How many people do we have going here? Wow, for a Wednesday, we got 250 people here. What temperature does the tools remain when in idle? None. There's no wires going to the tools, Farouk. It heats up so fast, so you don't need to have them preheated or anything. Thank you, Dozer. And they heat up, I mean, they cool down pretty quickly too, because hopefully we'll see, as I get this print going, you'll see how much ooze they do. See you, Color Prints. You'll see the little amount of ooze as it goes through these. What this is doing for... Oh, I'm doing the full thing here. So I think not doing a bed. Okay, so I need to do a home and Z tilt, and then I can start the print. So I want it to be, it's almost up to temperature. Don't do the filament draw till like to use its parity. Yeah, we are less than 50%. We are less than 50%. We got 18 minutes, and then we're giving away some Polymaker filament. Big thanks to Polymaker for letting me continue to do that. This is like the 215th time that we've done a draw. Been wondering if anyone will try like a preheated step for the index tool change. Over a whole print, it might make a difference. What do you mean preheated step? Because you can't preheat a tool because there's nothing going to it while it's in the dock. Hey, Troy. Trident kit will be available. Are you thinking Trident R2? That's a good question. I don't know. But if you wanted to do a current kit, whatever their latest kit is, it's really, if you were buying individually all the things it takes to upgrade to R2, it's probably about $30. But you're going to end up with dozens of extras in that case. You got to buy a pack of 50 of heat sets. You got to buy a pack of 50 or 20 of bolts. You need to buy a pack of 10 of bearings, but you only need 6. So, INDX kit, is that what you're talking about? That's an extra question. And then you're just talking about, really, you're only looking at this little extrusion here. And then if you want to do a top hat and clicky clack door, those are recommended. Somebody asked earlier how tall of a top hat I think I need. This is the Stealth Changer 200 millimeter, but I know I can get away with 150. There are links for the filament management solution you have on there, specifically the PTFE corner mounts and extrusion mounts. Not yet, but I will be publishing those. Okay, this is heated up. So let's go ahead and home it. Tools are inductive heated, so no way to heat the tools without the nozzle docked in the tool. Yep. I don't think you gain anything by preheating them. If you saw the heat up time on the heat up time and it's nothing. That's the CPAP controller. Wait until West 3D and KB3 end up with R2 hardware kits, knowing how in tune they are. I do want to put a cover on that. I just never got around to modeling it. I like where it's at though. It works really well, just tucked there in the corner. Okay, there we are. Home it. Is the CPAP worth the hype? I don't know. I was going to show this. Where did I put it? I was going to show the... Where did I put that? I don't know if it's worth it or not. I do have somewhere. Maybe I didn't bring them in here. The rest of the box of stuff. Maybe it's in the other garage. I have the 4010 cooling ducts, the 4010 fan cooling ducts that I want to try on here at some point. Can you give the brief comment to print start sequence on this build? It's not optimized right now, Farouk. It's basic. I just did a manual home and Z-tilt, but now it'll do a bed mesh and start the print. So I'm gonna go ahead and send that. We'll see how the that's fine. So now it's gonna do a mesh. Zeta, that's definitely a concern. I haven't had an issue. You could put a screen in front of it. Hey, T7. It's worth the risk of getting sleepy if you're conditioned to associate the sound with sleeping because of a CPAP. I get that. So you're recommending updating to R2 and after wait for the index. Given the minimum bed loss, I think Trident is just a little bit more suited for index than Voron 2. And I also think that the PTFE path, even though it puts the tools at the front, I do like this better than putting them at the back. I'm still concerned about the chance of dropping a tool with the tools in the back because they are just held on with magnets. It is using a load cell that's in the tool head. You see how when I try and so they start snoring. Yeah, the color of the CPAP tube is, yeah. RK put it. Yep. And that's what I was talking about. I'd like to see a little more testing. I suggested some testing for his setup. I'm still concerned about drop tools. Down at 0 to 150 millimeters. If that's all you're printing, it's probably not a problem. But as soon as you go higher, I'm a little concerned. Tweaks to offset the beds. Well, on a Voron 2, you can move the bed forward and back because it's on extrusion. So you don't gain anything there. Where the gain is on here is the extra Y travel. Okay, let me watch this. That's a little... That's a little tight to the bed. That's probably better. Okay, I think I got it better quick enough. I'll see if I can get a better shot in here. Let's go here while I rearrange this camera to try to get a better shot. Oh, it's just gonna want to focus on those, isn't it? Can I change that? No, I want to focus. Focus, manual focus. I have no idea what to do here. How to change that? How do I change that? all we're not actually getting the piece in there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get any better. I don't know how to put this thing into manual focus. This is just, maybe we can do something like that. That might be okay. Get a little further back. I know the tools are what's in focus. The only way to remove the filament from the nozzle to heat it and retract, or is there a filament cutter? Just heat and retract. You had to focus on the print for a few seconds and you changed it. It auto-focused on it. I don't know how. How do I? Let's see. Let's go menu. Break this out here. Autofocus. How do I change that? Front curtain, release steady shot. Zoom setting. No, that's not what I want. Zoom, ring, rotate. Invalid with this lens. What if I do that? Does that change it? Nope, that still does. Any? Here. Talking about the heat up times. That's our tool changes. That's our tool changes. So these slopes here, the upslope is the heat up time. This is not the cool down time because it's changing tools. Is there a lever on the camera lens to switch? No, I didn't. No, there isn't. There is not. Oh, let me go back. At least go back here. There's a that does zoom, but then the ring does zoom as well. And it just wants to focus. Maybe I can do that. Is that enough? Zoom in enough and it'll take the print. It is pretty quiet. My offsets are off though. Look at that white. That I don't know which it is, but that offset's off. I don't know which one that is. So I need to do like a print, one of those little squares on the build sheet. Little offset. Let me see if I can find one while that's doing that. 5 minutes till filament giveaway. Let's see, is there a... Is there a good print for calibrating offsets? Or at least showing offsets? Ah. I'm not going to be able to get it to focus, so maybe we just do this. You see the tool changes. The offsets from Ember are reverse. Not sure if it's the same for what you're working with. Oh, you think it's reverse? That would explain why it's so far off. Just drink more, the focus won't matter. What's the current practice for auto offset? You can do like a nudge. I'm really anxious to see the eddy current offset stuff. Oops. I wonder if, let me get a closer look at this. That is way off. Let's try that. Nemi, let's look at that. So you're thinking if we had our calibrations here. So you're thinking I could probably just invert all of these? You think if I invert all of these, it might be better off? Because that is way off. Far more than I would expect it to be. So if I go here and just invert the sign on all these. Oops. Yeah. Turn negative, but yeah. Let's do that. Let me double check this for what I had. Minus, 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 minus. So all the X's should be in a positive direction. X, 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 and plus, plus, minus, plus, 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 minus, and then the last one should be plus. I think the middle one should be as well. Okay, so let's save this and close it. And let's stop the print. Let's start it again and see what happens. Stop. Keep the bed at 65. And also, we can get an opportunity to look at the cooldown ramp. Because with the tool in there, we do see a true cooldown. I don't do any AI stuff, not because I'm necessarily against any of it, but I just don't have the bandwidth to integrate it into any of my workflows. Cooldown is really fast. Okay, let's grab. Oh, that's already at tool 0. Nice. I stopped it, just happened to stop it at tool 0. So. I want to also save this offset. So save config. There we go. Giveaway time. Calibration should incorporate AI recognition to minimize human error. Yeah, this is, oops. This was quite off, which lends itself to what Nemi was saying. It's probably backwards for the way that that's configured compared to what we're looking for. So it was going to be somewhat of a successful print though. Let me get some nozzle off of there. Let's heat this up. 50, 65, and we'll get this redone. Perfect for tool changer, not naming names. Influencers putting tubes in their tool changers are in for a world of hurt. There we go. This is the nice thing about these spool holders. One of the design intents there was so I could still open and close the top hat. This is why those stick out like that. Okay. Let's home it all. We are doing a giveaway. I know we're a couple minutes late, but I'd like to get this print started. And we can do the giveaway while it's printing. Z-tilt. Printed on single color to check the model has not a thin area. Oh, I printed this model. It's definitely an offset issue that caused this. Definitely an offset. Let me get things ready. Get your entries in. Let me get the wheel of names up, and I'll try to remember to have it on screen when I draw this time. Okay, that's done. Let's home it all. I did restart. I saved the variables file and then I restarted when I saved the Z offset that I changed during that print. I think the CMYK 3D print stuff, what do they call that? Where it's layer by layer stuff is really, really cool. Just has to have the right model for it to be effective. Hey, Peter. Hey, Joe. Okay, so then I think I can just restart this same print. Full spectrum, that's it. That's really cool, and it's an incredible effect. It's just any flat top layers or bottom layers are all the whatever color ends up on that layer. Probably minimized by a high transmission distance filament, I guess. Okay, that's doing that. Let me bring up the page. You're working on dithering. That's how that stuff starts, right? Yeah, you'll iterate, make it better. Where's my die? Number of times we're going to restart the count. 3. Imagine that. 3. I need to make one like no infill so it bounces a little bit. Some work on using clear top layers to fix that. But then it would just show the next color down, right? I did see someone mention maybe like doing an ironing with the opposite color. That seems interesting. Okay, that's going to go through and start that print. I'll probably step over there and watch the first layer. How did we do on likes? We're at 275 people, 120 likes. We can get that up by the time we end today at least. I'm going to give away 5 gifted memberships when this is done. Incredible it's possible to do that on a 3D print. Yeah. Inbox. I've seen Inbox, but it doesn't really interest me just because everything's just getting so big and tall. Okay. Let me see. Then likes. This is going to start printing in half a moment. So get those likes in, get those entries in. I'm going to watch the prime line, and then we'll get this. Yeah, looks much better. Okay, I'm going to call that good. We will see how the offsets are after the giveaway. So, Roberto, thanks for becoming a member. Counting down. 3. Get your entries in. 2. I'm only going to restart 3 times. First restart. 3. Second restart. 3. Third restart. All done. Last count. 3, 2, 1, and done. Someone got in there. Let's save. 169 people. Hey, Cubs. Okay. Oh, Down Under Maker, you got in there first. Who got in last? It's the last person. 1. Okay, we just got a new one. Oh, so we got an extra entry there because I forgot to actually turn it off. So good job. You got you got in there. JR 3D Creations. Good job. Okay, paste that in there. Hi, Aim. Hey, Gorilla. 0 make it in? Let's see. I don't see. Let's do a number between 1 and 21. 1 and 21. One and 21. Let's see. Gerdman said 11. It's daughter's softball jersey. Nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's see. What do we got here? Who do we got? TJ. TJ Magneto. Congratulations. You have 3 minutes to say something in chat. TJ. Congrats. Are you here? These next lottery numbers. There you are. Congrats. Let's copy this. Stop the timer. Put this, oops. Paste that there. Paste that there. There you are. Now let me bring up, where's my Gmail? See you, Kenny. Let's get you in here. There's that. And one more thing. Okay, TJ, you'll have an email from me any moment. If you don't get it within several minutes, reach out, let me know. Let's clear that out. Let's unpin the message. Let's delete it from the description. Did we get, yeah, we got a good number of likes there. Good job. Like it or not, YouTube needs that. push the channels. So had a couple of people complain that I do that, but whatevs. It's still off. It's still off, but not by as much. Did I throw away the other one? Yeah. Can't really tell. I deformed this one too much. Still off, but not by as much. Hey, Enjoy Surf. Hey, Fegley. Oops, sorry. I should have changed over here. It's off, but not by as much, so I need to redo the calibration. So what I'm going to do, because it's not really any worth reprinting this, I'm going to stop this print, and then we'll put the camera back on there and change between the tools and see what it looks like. There shouldn't be anything in the slicer that's setting tool offsets. If we go here, I think that would be in here, and is it here? Here we are, extruder offsets. Those should all be zeroed out. And we can go through here and look, and yeah, they're zeroed out. So what I want to do, because I don't want to set this on the super hot tool, we're going to, or super hot bed, we're going to go ahead and stop this. Can you apply them during print? I don't think so. And let's just stop that print. That'll cool down the things. And then we'll let this cool down for a couple of minutes and then put the camera on there and end the stream with checking out where we're at with that stuff. Since we talked about it earlier, and it would have been a good thing to do to double check our offsets and consistency. It's better, but it's not. It's still that it's deformed, so it's not as bad as that looks. But you can kind of see. Let's see if I can. It was right about like that. Email received. Awesome. Debating which Voron build I want to do, either Trident or 2.4. Well, I highly recommend Trident if you're going to do Index. And there is Stealth Changer, Trident Stealth Changer coming. Calico is good. I'm running Calico on this printer. Does it do it when it's not scaled up? I don't think it's related to the model. I think it's definitely offsets. Could the docking mechanism allow some free movement causing these shifts? If it does, then that's a design problem. If it does, that's a design problem. Something that I'm thinking about is when it changes. I think I know what's going on now that I had that thought. When it changes tools, it takes an extra bit of extrusion to lock the tool into place. And when I was going through and measuring offsets, I wasn't running an extra extrusion through there, or an extra bit. So it might not be fully locked in, and that might be causing the problem. Which means we should probably pull the filament and clean the tools would be a good opportunity to pull the filament to make sure they're clean for this, since I just printed. So I've got, let's do that real quick. Let's just go 150 on these, because that'll be enough to pull the filament. Did I see Prusa had some auto calibration stuff for index? Yeah, they're using eddy current offset detection. And that's not new. I don't know where the idea originally came from, but the guy who did, Vladimir, I think it is, who did the eddy NG, eddy current contact or tap offset stuff, also had a project for doing offset, nozzle offsets with eddy currents. Wasn't finished though. The pressure it's applying with a feed, it's used for retention. Yeah, but I'm not sure it's extruding enough to fully engage. Blood Eddy NG showed that for Mad Max. Yep. At Rocky Mountain at Fabrico's booth. Yeah, they had a little remote eddy current sensor thing. And the Prusa sensor doing eddy current sensing. Yep. And they have a second sensor there that's supposed to cancel out background noise. I would think so, Nemi. I'm curious if it works in anything else, because there are a lot of, well, I guess the only thing available for index right now are steel nozzles. So it's fine, but that locks them into steel nozzles. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. 25, 10, retract. Which one was that? That is tool 2. That should be this guy. Let's retract one more time. There we go. That's tool 2 pulled. Keep thinking the index obscures too much of the front. Not only that, you can see during the print, but especially removing prints. Yeah, my end G-code brings the bed down to here so I can get to everything, but since we didn't actually finish the print, cool down, grab T0. Heat it back up. Oh, I want to, before this gets too cool, make sure we get that nice and clean. Let's just do a 50. Retract. Oh, okay. So that's, this is something that gets in the way. So right now, I just did a retract and the tool's out. The tool pulls out. You have to do that extrude, and this is exactly what I was talking about. It's still in a tool dock sequence set there, so I needed to do an extrude before I do a retract. Hey, Alex. So let's do a extrude. Now it's locked in there. And now I can retract it to get the filament out. Cool down. This off. It's nice and clean. And then grab tool 2. And now, this is all stuff I need to automate with some macros. tools mounted on the side would be better. Yeah, it would. You'd have to twist your whole gantry 90 degrees. Okay, extrude, lock that in, retract, get it out. Okay, cool down, grab the next tool. Get this off of here. Go. Heat her up. I mean, this is the thing that makes this bearable, is the heat up time is just so fast. Just put the door on the side. Extrude. Retract. Cool down. Grab tool 4. Pick that clean. Heat it up. Extrude, retract. There's a new version of 12 tools, front and back, or left and right sides. You got to be able to get to them with the motion system. So, and you got to manage that many spools of filament. Cool down and grab tool 0 again. Okay, so doing all of that, our bed has gotten down under 50C. So let's go Z35. Then let's get our camera back and plugged in. Will this, where would this go? That might work okay. Just thinking of a spot to put it, but I don't think it matters. Enjoyed the stream. How you manage all the questions? Thanks, Motocross. I try, but okay. So we're gonna go back to the spot. 125, 20. Oops. 20. We're going to put it there. And we're going to now remember that we need to extrude. Lock that tool in. Yep. And then we're going to move the... Oh, interesting. Okay, let's go to here. And let's refresh. I did plug it in, right? Yeah. Oh, there it is. Okay. So let me see if I can get this close. Look at that. That's pretty darn close. That's really close. Close enough to where we'll be able to see. Hey, Phil. And now let me go and jog the Z. Nope, too far. Oh, too far. Nope. Let's jog this into... Okay, that's pretty decent. So if we look at that, and I change tools now, we should be able to get an idea of where it is between tools. So, good question. I think it's right, but I can check at home. I'm not sure. It seems like I had to invert all of the results. Okay, so there's that. We get an idea of where that is. Maybe I can take a quick screenshot of this so we can have it off to the side to look at it. So this is tool 0, and I can bring this in and we can do some comparisons. So let's do this right here. That's tool 0. And then I'm going to grab now tool 1. And I also want to do something here. I want to move this over to 120. Oops, 125. 120. Now look at that. So this should be on. And this is the tool that is quite a bit off, but I haven't, let me see what happens. This is an experiment for me too. When we extrude a little bit to lock that in. Okay, so it did move, but not in the direction it needed to for that offset. And this looks like probably about what that problem is. If you compare this to this. So I need to go through and redo all this, locking both in, because remember, even the first one wasn't locked in. I think it's a matter of the tools not being locked in. Let me see, let's go back to tool 0 and see how it compares and make sure I actually locked it in. So let's move it over. 120. So that's there. So let's lock it in. Maybe I hadn't locked it in. Extrude. It was close. So yes, that looks the same between those within a very small margin of error. So that was locked in. I trust this now. Now let's look at what T2 looked like. And then we lock it in. It's close. Okay, so that one is off as well. If you're worried about design flaws in the motion system, you can swap the tool to the same position over and over again and see if it drifts. Yeah, I'm just comparing right now because the index has the Maxwell coupling and it relies on a little lever to push the whole tool down into that coupling, and I didn't make sure that I did an extra extrude move when I did the initial calibration. So I think that's what's going on, and how far it is off isn't going to be consistent. You would hope that it's consistent once it's locked in. So that one's off. So I guess it's worth taking the time today to go through this again if folks want to hang out. I think it's worth taking the time to go through this again. I have learned TAMV stuff, but I haven't tried it yet. I don't know if you saw, you probably didn't see it yet. You'll see it on the feedback though. But this one has a bit of a sticky Z switch. Just so you know. Okay, so if we're going to redo these because we know they're off, let's go ahead and go back to let's go back to tool 0. And we've been going to a consistent location. And we run a little extra extrude move that locks it into place, and that is staying consistent. Tool 0 is staying consistent between the moves we've been doing. So the 2 times we've done this, it's gone back after we've locked it in. It's been, because this is our check here. Those look the same to me. Very close. This one's slightly offset down. I've noticed during internal tests that the button can feel sticky when I'm pushing it with my finger, but it's never actually given me a problem on a printer. Okay. So if that is there, and this is, let's just make sure that's not moving when I extrude. And our fingers can push it in different directions. Makes sense. So now if I jog this, so this is no longer useful, so let's get rid of that. If I jog this in place, actually I want to start XY, continue, continue, continue. I guess that doesn't matter. I'll just skip through all that. Go there, and let's zoom in more. That look pretty good. Ah, there we go. Can I zoom this whole thing in? Aha, there we go. Look at the top right corner. What do you mean? I think that's pretty good. So if I put in 125.14 and 120.03, that's our reference point now. Now let's grab tool 1. Phil, this does sit on the bed so much better than the last one. It's not shifting at all. Then 125, 120. Okay. And then we need to extrude it and see how much it shifted there. There's enough there for us to see it just fine. So not too worried about that. Oh. Ah, this isn't gonna work. I forgot to zero out the offsets. We gotta zero out the offsets before we do this. I forgot. I don't want to go in and apply maths. Zero, 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 zero. It told me there in the instructions to zero out the offsets. One day Axoscope will work on other printers. Yeah, I'm hoping they can get that going because Axoscope is fantastic. Okay, I only have Z's applied. Save. Go back. Gotta move the camera. I mean, we could technically home to the camera. It's a load cell. It'll only push on it a little bit. Block edit all the T numbers after copying them in. I don't know. Okay. Okay. Let's go ahead and do a Z-tilt just to make sure. You see the red light on the beacon lighting up. That's a little red light on there. Beacon's not activated. It's using the load cell, but okay. That is good enough. So let's go to 125, 120, and there. Let's get the camera page up. Is mandatory or blower for the index? No, there is a traditional regular fan solution for it. Okay, where are we? It doesn't have to be exact. I am. There, that's close enough. Close enough. I looked at the lights. I looked at the lights. That was a problem. I looked at the lights. Okay, let's see here. Let's get some focus here. That looks pretty good. Let's extrude. Okay, it's in a good spot. And let's move this. Yeah, pretty much. There we go. That looks pretty good. So let's put these numbers in. 125.18. I'm really close to last time. 20.15. Okay. Now let's grab T1. Move this over to 125. 120. That final jog happening via camera image or steppers? Steppers? So right now the tool isn't necessarily fully engaged. So I'm going to extrude 10 millimeters and we'll see how it shifts. See? That one, when I engage it, it shifts quite a bit. And I'm going to engage each of these twice just to make sure they're fully engaged. Now we're going to move this. Okay, right there. Looks pretty good. So 125.35 and 120.04. Okay, 0. You have a beacon on the tool head, USB separate cable. Is it just for meshing? It's actually connected to the tool head board because there's a USB port on there. But it's not activated. You can't have two probes and the load cell is a probe. So you can't use the load cell as your ZN stop and then the beacon for meshing in the current setups. Okay, so that is that one. Now let's grab T2. Go to 125, 20, and now we will extrude. See you, Adriel Adama. Hey, Maker Viking. Little tiny shift, but not enough. And I don't know which final jog you're talking about there, Adama. I may not have seen it. Well, that's pretty darn close. Might go there. Yeah. Call that pretty darn close. See you, Gurgman. Hey, JD. On 25.39 and 20.2. See you, Jill. Jill? Is it GIF or JIF? Hey, Tech Cheaper. Did I get those in there? And 0. X3. T3. Okay. 125, 120. Then we'll do our extrude. That one didn't move at all. Gil. Exactly, Greenbeard. Can you use beacon touch instead of load cell? Yes, you could. Yep. You can do that. Yeah. Kind of be nice to choose between them depending on the mesh or absolute Betsy. I agree. But that would take some firmware configuration changes. Okay, so that is good. So let's jog this over. there, and maybe right there. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So this is 125.49 and 119.99. That's consistent, I think, with what we had before. And then tool 4. 125, 20. Extrude. Yeah, it didn't move. Okay. Let's jog it into place. Oops. There. There we go. Smart code to choose would be cool. With touch function with beacon. Okay. So now we have $125.48 and 120.16. Now we run through this and get our offsets. There we are. So I am going to copy those. Grab our window here. New. So we have these. Actually, we needed these two. Let's grab those. And then let's go back. Let's change these for tool 5. $125, $120. Watch this one. That one's nice and clean. It doesn't have any filament through it. Extrude. And it didn't move at all. Do you have a nozzle cleaner as part of this build? I do not. I do not. I haven't really found it necessary on the Index. It oozes so little. Okay, let's jog this into place. It's too far. Right about there. That looks good. So then we're going to change these to 125.32 and 120.26. Run through those. So now the last value there will be our 5. So now we're going to go in here, go to machine and variables. And I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to go ahead and immediately invert them because I think it did get better when we inverted them. So T1 X offset is 0.17. T2 is 0.21. T3 is 0.31. And T4, 0.30. And then T5 is 0.14. Y is minus 0.11, 0, and then 0.05, T3 is minus 0.16, T4 is 0.01, and then T5 is 0.11. And I can always flip these later if it actually is the other way. Did I miss anything exciting? No, just going through each tool, and now I've set all the offsets. So let's save and restart. Let's get the camera out of the way. I should put this somewhere else, but are the tops and bottoms glued together on here? It didn't glue very well, I think. The top comes off. That might be why this thing is sticking. I think that's probably what's going on. Okay. Stop looking at the lights. Okay. See, those things are bright. Let's homo. Blink it away. Okay. Let's do a Z tilt. Okay. Now, moment. I want to see something here. I got an interesting question. Let's put the camera on. Oops, we need to go plus 25. Someone makes a 350 machine with index. It's out of the box. Okay, let's get that close. Let's see where we're pointing. That was so close, and then I messed it up. There we go. Squirrel's been playing with my brain for a while. I'm going to have to replay this entire stream later. Okay, let's get this. There we go. Okay, that looks pretty good for that, but I want to hit the extrude on this. Oops, sorry. Let's watch that, see if it shifts. It did. It shifted just a little bit, but what that's telling me is I think I need to go in. There is a, I think what's going on in the index, and is there a, let's go to the config. What I think needs to happen is there needs to be more extrude move to lock it in after a tool change. Because what that says is that the whole time it was doing Z tilt and the offset, then it's doing it with a slightly loose nozzle, which is not a good thing. So is that a variable I can change? This is dock locations. Pretty beat after all the work on Tinkeros. Have a great stream. Hey, see ya, Maker Viking. Have a good one. And then I think everything else is lock forces, that's probe stuff. Calibrate XY. Moves until you extrude is kind of concerning. Agreed. But I think what needs to happen is the amount of move it makes to when it grabs the tool just needs to be increased. I think that just needs to be increased. And that would get rid of all of this. Should. But we got to figure out where that is. Tool change macros. Here we go. So, index constants, variable peel distance. Distance of the gentle peel off after parking pickup. Wiggle in, full open. Initial duration. I will have to dig in a little deeper to figure out where that is done. There's probably a hard-coded in extrude move. Oscar's on. Oh, you guys can see Oscar. Kitty cam. Oh boy. I'm gonna have to dig in, I think, and find where that is. That's calibration, so it's got to be here in the TC macros. Is that in there at all? No. They do something else with it. I don't know where it would be. Tool status, index detect tool. Oh, here. Where's the T? Calibration macros move to index cal. Helper macros, load cell configuration. What is this? The orchestration macros, change tool. Here we are. It's got to be in here. You paying attention, Nemi? Bounds check. United States haven't fired yet. Build the tools list and line down. Z sync, Z hop, physical tool swap. Park tool. House Z hop only when there was no park. Pickup tool. Pickup tool is a. Park tool, pickup tool. Okay. Resolve this tools dock geometry. Sprint to trigger, open latch if not already open. Slide to lock, lock the tool. Here we go. Here it is. The C full lock E is what we need to find. That right there is going to be, where is that? Okay, so let's see, is that in? See you, Mastermind. That's it right there. Where is that going to be? Is that going to be over in the config? No. So what is that? I don't understand this enough. It is an issue when you just grab a tool and then it goes and probes, Barry. In a print, it's probably not as big of an issue because it's going to lock into place as it's printing. But when you initially pick up a tool and then you probe with it, that's going to, if it's not fully locked into place, then that's going to be a problem. And we've seen that it's not fully locked into place. No, it's not here. And I know you can't see all of that, but it's not down there. So it's locking the tool different when probing than when printing. No, it's not different. It's the amount that it's moving to lock the tool in doesn't seem to be quite enough to fully lock it into place. But when it's printing, because it uses an extrude move to lock it into place, when it's extruding and printing, it's finishing locking it into place. That's the beauty of INDX, is it's using the extruder and a mechanism to lock and unlock components in there to actuate the little lever that pushes down on the tool, which I don't know where, oh, this tool. So there's a little lever inside of there that pushes down on that spot right there, on that pin. And that pushes down and locks these points into little ball bearings, the Maxwell coupling in the tool head. Somewhere you need to load that into the C structure. So it might be in their code then, hard-coded in there. So I'll relay that to Olaf and the guys then. I won't spend a bunch of time here. Let's go ahead. What I wanted to do here now is check this, because we did run that extra move every time. And I'll worry about it later. You can control the lock mechanism through a macro separately by moving it to the magnet to engage the little lever that puts it into load and unload mode, and then do those movements. Sure, but thank you. But if it's in the code, we can probably go find it, but it's better for me to just give the feedback to Bondtech. It's an interesting thing that we've seen, because we've seen evidence of it not being fully engaged when we extrude and it shifts in the camera, which is kind of cool to see. So anyway, this is locked into place. Let's grab a screenshot here. So we have our reference, and let's see what all of these look like. So let's bring this in. So that's our control. Maybe I can do something like that and make that a little smaller and a little closer. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, so that's our control. Hey, Kevin. Hey, Remy. So that's our control. Everything's good. Let's grab tool 1. $5, $20. Oh. So, is it possible the nozzle is only in a fixed position while under constant force? I don't know, but that would be a real problem for calibration. That would be a real problem with calibration. So I hope not. Now let's extrude to make sure it's locked in place. Oh, look at that. But that's interesting, because wouldn't that indicate that maybe we're backwards on our offsets? Maybe we're backwards on our offsets, because it's pretty much exactly opposite of the control. So maybe we didn't need to reverse those. It looks to be pretty spot on. I've been extruding twice, Nemi, just to make sure it doesn't move again. I have been. It aligns correctly? What do you mean? It aligns correctly. It should look like this. Never mind. Never mind. It looks correct. It looks correct. Never mind. I'm hitting end of day in stream brain. I'm hitting end of day in stream brain. Never mind. Let's do tool 2. I'm overthinking things. Yeah, because that looks really good too. Let's lock it in. And it didn't move much, if at all. This looks really good, actually. Let's go, what are we on? Let's go T3. Okay, and then we lock it in. Didn't move. It looks great. These are actually all looking really good, and that kind of solves our, or confirms our problem. T4. Remember, this is our control. Oops, this is our control. So 125, 20. Lock it in. It didn't move. It looks really good. There's a little bit of variation I'm seeing in Y. So maybe a matter of doing a calibration again or seeing how it actually impacts. Because remember, that's 0.4 millimeters across. See you, Jeff. This is looking really good though. And it's kind of confirming the thought about that, the problem being that the tool isn't locking into place, and it wasn't. Look, they all look great. Extrude. Yeah. Ophthalmologist. You might just be running into tolerances of the motion system. If I do that 10 times, it might shift in that little micromillimeter range. Yeah. They are 0.5 millimeter nozzles. Yes, Rogue. Wonder if it would be worth having the camera permanently mounted just off the bed. You can't really reach it anywhere just off the bed. We are optimizing build area on this, so there's a little bit of over travel in the front, but zero in the back, and really nothing on the sides. There are ways of mounting it, yes, but not really a great way in the Trident. But I feel good about this because we actually learned something tonight, and I'll be able to relay that to Bondtech and see what they say. Because I think it's probably worth doing an extra 5 millimeters or whatever of extrude move to make sure that a tool is locked in place, or whatever it needs to be, or open that up to a as a variable to tweak it, to be able to easily fine tune it. So, Kaylin, no, Deanna, the offsets were set with the load cell, but I suspect the same issue is coming into play where some of the tools are more engaged than others on the, so the Z offsets may be off. In the comments at the top of the config, it says the E-axis and dance geometry are fixed constants under the do not touch section. Well, I mean, we can touch them. We can go into the source files and touch them. But yes, as soon as you prime, it does lock into place. So really, right now, I would have to tweak the Z offsets. So given that the offset calibration is a macro that it goes through, using the load cell, I think I think it's still worth tweaking those. So, okay. Expect that Z would be done elsewhere. You can do it with this camera. It has a thing, but you have to hook it up in a separate wire. Do not as an invitation. Been an interesting stream. The extrude, retract, locking, and unlocking makes calibration different to what we have been doing. Oh, you can do it until, is the light turn off or something? That's right, the light turns off. I keep looking at the damn light. We need some side shields. We need little light shields around them. It is so bright. Well, I mean, that's how you get this, right? Nice clear image. No, that was useful. That was good. Any last second questions on Index or R2 before we sign off? Need to print blinders for it. Yeah. R2 when? There you go. Okay, folks. Thank you for hanging out. I have no idea if we're going to do a stream next Wednesday. It depends on if I come up with anything. Oh, I forgot to give subs. I forgot to give subs. Why didn't anybody remind me? You probably reminded me and I forgot. Let me give subs. We'll get some of the 185 people are still here. We'll get some subs out there. There we go. Sorry about that. I meant to do that right after the memberships, but I got distracted. Can you use a 2.4 350 frame for a Trident? Not easily. I mean, technically sure, but things are going to be all sorts of off. It'll be very short. You won't get even 250 in Z. I did like the graphic. Have you looked into the Prusa Core 1 mini project? I've seen it. I've seen the, isn't there a blog post, a user blog post on printables? See you, Phil. It's an info on Index. Good. So, I don't know if we're going to do a stream next Wednesday. We are going to be starting the Vertigo build on Sunday. So, I hope to see you all there. Hope you have a good rest of your week. Thanks to Polymaker for letting me give away roll of Polymaker filament. Thanks to Phil for letting me help beta test this camera. Sending it out. It looks interesting. It seems to be working. So, a couple of things I'll give you some feedback on. But other than that, see you all Sunday. Enjoy the build. Bye.